This week I learned that this historical fiction thing is pretty goddamn good. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update. We are officially in May, you guys, and a late May the 4th be with you. So lots of things to talk about this week. I did go on a family vacation for 4 days, and I thought that would kind of hinder my reading schedule a little bit, but it did, but not so much. I mean, I still found myself being told, hey, we're leaving for breakfast, put the book down, so, par for the course for me. But great time with the kids, great time with the family. Got to do lots of rest and relaxation this week because when we got back, they had to go back to school, wife had to go back to work, and I got to go to my sofa and read. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those things, guys. What am I reading? I did finish The Winter King. Finished it actually last night. This is the first book in Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell. This is my first Bernard Cornwell. And here's the thing about this, guys, is I haven't read historical fiction before. Everything's either been fantasy or fiction. I kind of never really done it this way. So with this, I am absolutely married to Sir Thomas Malory's The Morte Arthur, his Arthurian legend, that we pretty much, all the stuff that is made famous by that. So this being a different take on that, I was afraid that I was going to be apprehensive about accepting different versions of these characters, which, Cornwell will argue are the more historically accurate versions of these characters. Fine. That's fine. I actually am liking it quite a bit. I've got to say that if this was my book of the month, I won't be shocked because this was phenomenal. I mean, it's my first book of the month. So right now it is my book of the month, but you know what I mean. This is very good. Very, very good, guys. And yeah, sure, there's differences. Lancelot's very different in this story than what you are probably used to hearing. So I'm actually impressed with myself that I wasn't, against some of these things because, just like I said, I'm so into Mallory's version of this. So I think looking at it the way that I've been looking at it is, this is like if the Arthurian legend existed in the world of Westeros. I kind of felt like that. I made the comparison to Song of Ice and Fire, and people are like, well, there's no dragons, there's no magic. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that the writing style, the atmosphere, the way everyone acts, the way everything is just so backstabby and politicky, and, there are, houses and segments and things like that. And then, of course, you've got your characters that they're good people sometimes, but they will do some not so nice things, because that's just the way that the world was at that time. So I've actually really just blown away, honestly, by this. Because the first 100 pages or so, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like, why does this series have the hype that it does? I don't get it. And then, pow, at about the 100-page mark, it just completely explodes, and it never ever let up. And I just blew through this because, guys, it's really, really great. It's got me very encouraged for what is to come, and that is why I immediately picked up Enemy of God as book number 2 and started it, but not that far into it yet. But my goal is, guys, is to kind of finish these before the 19th, because that's when we start the next Dark Tower book, Wolves of the Kala. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I mean, if they keep reading as quickly as they are for me, I do have to go back to work next week, so I think that will be a little different. But I'm thinking that Bernard Cornwell is going to be one of my favorite authors because it's just one book. It's a small sample size. I have heard that Last Kingdom is a pretty faithful adaptation for the most part. There is a lot because I know that they do, 2 books per season on that, so there's a lot of things missing, but it does still feel representative of what the books are like. So this is my first experience with him on page, but obviously I've loved The Last Kingdom. It's been one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So I don't see myself stopping with this. I'm interested in the Sharp books. I'm interested in the Grail Quest, of course, and then Saxon Stories. So, this is an author I think you're going to be hearing a lot from me on going forward because everyone tells me that books 2 and 3 are even better than Winter King. So if that's the case, guys, this will probably end up being one of my favorite trilogies of all time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. And that's pretty much all that I read, for this week. Like I said, was on vacation for half of it, and then stay-at-home vacation for the part where I actually finished the book. But let's go ahead and move along, guys. So what am I going to read? Obviously, I'm going to keep working on Enemy of God, then move along to Excalibur and finish up this trilogy. Again, the goal is by the 19th, but we'll see because I know things at work will be madness when I get back. I don't know what your job's like, but when you take a vacation in my job, you come back, well, they didn't really do it for you. It's just kind of waiting there for you. So it'll be a little bit of a catch-up there. I didn't really get to read any Berserk, guys, on the trip because I got so wrapped up in Winter King. I damn still going to finish that last volume. I know I keep telling you that, but I get the question every single time I make a video now. When's your next Berserk review? Guys, when I finish reading it, the review will come after that. I'm not going to review it before I've finished reading it. So I'm sorry that you guys have continued to wait this long. But I've always been very, very clear that manga does not take priority on this channel. The written word does. But I do want to finish that for you kind folks that have been waiting that long for me to do it. So, yeah, that's really all I've got going on for the next week or two. Is just Bernard Cornwell and maybe a little Kintaro Miura. So let's go ahead and move along, guys, to this week on the channel. I did most of this stuff, guys, before I left. I like to record ahead. So when I do take a vacation, it's not, just completely like, hey, see you guys in a week when I get back. So I don't usually like to do my book haul and my wrap up back to back, but with vacation, I was really coming down to the wire, guys. I had to stay up really late a couple of those nights because I realized, hey, I haven't even packed for this trip yet, and we leave at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I went ahead and did the April 2022 book haul. Not much different than any other book haul, except, the series that were in there. Got a lot of interesting remarks on some of the newer series that I haven't read before and things like that. I think In Cold Blood is the one people are like, how have you not even heard of this? I don't know, guys. I haven't heard of everything, so that's why I'm glad that I have viewers that will send me some stuff because it gives me ideas of some things I would never, ever try. And I'm grateful that you guys want me to try a book so much that you would think to send it to me. That's really, really just kind of you. And then, of course, like I said, people love those book hauls. They just love to see what people are, or what other people are saying about it, and if the spines match, all that fun stuff that about a book haul at this point. But those videos will always be very popular. So, yeah, I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. I enjoy making them. It feels like it's been a month since I made it because of the vacation. Just, it takes a toll on you as a parent. So I don't really remember everything exactly that I even got in that month. So, a little early this month for that reason. We'll get back to getting that like in the second week of the month here going forward. And then, of course, did my wrap up for April right after that when I got back. And that included my book of the month for April, which was a very, very close race. Came down between three books. Came down between Homeland to Green Angel Tower and Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. So those were the three that came down to, and it was one of those that, like, literally right before I started recording, I was like, I still don't know which one I'm going to pick. So you get to see a live reaction, I guess, from there, because I did not plan that at all, guys. I had no idea which one I was going to pick. I had all three of them sitting there. I was like, which one am I going to pick? So if you didn't catch that yet and you want to know the answer to that question, well, there you go. You can look it up. And then I went ahead and reviewed the Dark Elf trilogy, which is the first adventures of Drizzt within Forgotten Realms. That is, the Dark Elf trilogy is what? Sojourn, Exile, and Homeland. I'm backwards there. Really quick reads, guys. I read all three of them in a week. Had a great, great time with them. I'm glad that people recommended those to me because I definitely think that I have found my Dresden Files replacement at this point, in that being that, hey, in between these big, huge, epic fantasy reads, I got these quick little series I can read on the side. And when you read some big old door stoppers, you need some series like that. And I think I was actually just very impressed with that trilogy because everyone just kind of sold it to me as it was like entry-level fantasy. So I guess I was expecting it to be like really, really like junior high reading level, but I didn't think so. I thought it was really, really well done. And I was really impressed by a few things, including like the house politics were very good. The dialogue was just superb, and I think that the action scenes were just great. So I had a great, great time. Not perfect, clearly, not perfect. It is my first time I'm reading R.A. Salvatore outside of a Star Wars book, but I'm impressed with everything that I've seen so far, and I can't wait to continue with that. I'll probably be doing Icewind Dale sometime over the summer because May and June are pretty booked with a lot of books that I plan on getting in during that stretch. So I probably won't be continuing until a little later. But that's a series I never really planned to kind of blow through. It's one I'm just going to kind of, hey, I got some time. Let me throw in a Drizzt book or two. So if they all read that fast, then we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to continue it for sure. But let's go ahead and continue this by talking about some of next week's plans now. this was some tough decision because I had to move some things around because of scheduling things and other stuff that you'll find out about later. But what I decided to move around here was I don't like to do a lot of these what a lot of people call fluff videos. But hey, you guys seem to like them, so I guess I shouldn't feel too bad about it. The only non-fluff one I got is for a review for next week, is I'm going to be doing Back into the Multiverse, but we're going to be doing Dark Tower for Wizard and Glass. So all the Into the Multiverse for the next few months are going to be Dark Tower related as I continue that read along with the other part of the quartet on my Discord. So the 19th is when we do each book, and then the corresponding month I'll do the Into the Multiverse for it. So this is going to be one of those ones where it's like there's a ton of connections and stuff involved. So it'll be a good time to talk about some Wizard and Glass, a book that, like I said last week, really completely blew me away on a reread. I really liked it on my first read, and I think I just absolutely loved it this read. And I don't know how I'm going to rank Dark Tower again when I do it here at the end, but I'm excited to talk about it and hopefully continue to get more people to read The Dark Tower. Now, my fluff pieces, as I'm calling them. First, I can't take any credit for this. Obviously, guys, this is a series that has been done by multiple other booktubers, but it's something that people have asked me to do a lot. So, you know me, I like to listen to my audience, and what this is called is If You Liked That, Try This Next. Now, what that is, obviously, is say you like this book right here. Here's another series I think that is like it. Kind of that kind of thing. So I got a handful of series that I think if you absolutely love them, some other recommendations I think that not exactly like the same, but I think fans of that series will like this other series as well. Some are going to be like, yeah, well, duh. And some are going to be like, really? I never really saw that comparison. So I think it's a fun conversation to have. And that's what videos like that for me are for, is to start some conversation, to start some recommendations in the comments below. So that's what I will be doing there, and hopefully I can get some more people to try out some of those other series that they didn't really ever consider based off of their love for the series that I talk about first. So that should be an interesting experiment. I've already got a handful in mind that I want to talk about, but I don't know how many I'm going to do or what. So we will find out, won't we? And then this is probably my most requested video on the channel, guys. I'm finally going to do it. It's been 2 years since I talked about my top 10 fantasy series of all time. And when I made that, I said as of 2020. And I kind of put off making an updated version of it because I said I didn't feel like a lot was going to change, and I didn't think I had very much different to say. Well, some things have changed now, some things have stayed the same, but I will be doing my top 10 fantasy series, the update for 2022. There are some changes in there, some things moved around, some things stayed exactly the same. But hey, people keep asking me for it. I think 2 years, a lot can change. I've read a lot of different series since then. So yeah, some of those series from the last one will drop out, and some new ones will come in. So it's going to be tough because I just kind of like started scribbling them down. I was like, man, I think I've got about 15 or 16 series here, and I got to kind of condense this down to 10. And I love you, Brian, but Brian Lee Durfee, but I'm not going to do, hey, my top 10 fantasy series, here all 23 of them are. I'm not going to do that. But I might have an honorable mention or two. But again, I don't like to do that too often, but if people are asking about it so much, then hey, give the people what they want. I don't think I'll ever do that yearly because I don't think I read enough new series to really kind of get into that. Or that it will change that much, because it's going to be like, I think about like my top 5, it's going to be hard to crack into that top 5, so we'll see what happens, guys. And that's what I got planned for next week. So guys, there are some TV and movie talk things here to talk about, and this has to start by talking about House of the Dragon on HBO. Now, if you don't know, this is a prequel series. It takes place before Game of Thrones. Now, when you get into Song of Ice and Fire, there's obviously a huge history there. Now, I've gone well on the record of saying I think that they almost poisoned the IP. I mean, I can't even talk about a Song of Ice and Fire book without it somehow turning into how the last season of the show sucked. And actually, you know what? It sucks in season 3. Yeah, those people, that conversation that I love having at this point. And by love, I mean not at all. But I understand why they're not waiting. They want to use the brand recognition. They own this license. I get why they don't want to wait. So it's been about 2 years now. I think might be longer. Gosh, I don't even remember how many. Might be 3. I don't know, because I'm trying to think. I was at the other house before we moved to this house. We've been here 3 years. I don't know. It's been a while since Game of Thrones ended. So, okay. So, the embers are starting to cool a little bit, I guess. The trailer for this came out, the official trailer. And I've got to say, I don't know if it's because my expectations were pretty low. Looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. Now, look, it's got Matt Smith. That's the 11th Doctor from Doctor Who. So I'm going to watch anything with Matt Smith. I love that man to death. And he's playing Daemon Targaryen. And I was going to watch anything for that. Here's the thing with that. As I said, look, I'm going to watch the pilot. And that's no question. And then I'll kind of decide from there. Because I think that there is still a lot of stuff that they could explore in the show. Have my way, they would have been doing Robert's Rebellion. But I understood why they wanted to go here. I think they wanted to give themselves enough time period of space before Game of Thrones takes place. That way they can kind of get away from that. And I think that the book... Okay, look, now this is based loosely off this book here. And I say loosely because this book is 300 years before A Song of Ice and Fire, and or A Game of Thrones, the first book. I think this series, judging off of where they're starting, I would say is about 200 years before Game of Thrones. So... I know this is going to be taking place during what the time period that they call the Dance of Dragons. Now, that's cool because, guys, we're going to have lots of dragon-on-dragon combat in this. That's a really cool thing. We're going to be dealing mostly with Daemon, Rhaenyra, and under King Viserys I's rule. And I don't know. I feel like they're starting in the wrong place. I really wish they were starting in the Conquest era, and that is, of course, with Aegon the Conqueror, and seeing how this all takes place. That's where the book takes place, and I think that's a really great place to start here. But, yeah, there's lots that you can discover, because, like I said, this history is so rich. There's so much. Like, you can go through that World of Ice and Fire book and just look at all the history of this. It's just so deep. It's probably the closest, besides Tolkien, as far as just, like, writing the backstory for this. So... I think there's plenty they can pull from. I wouldn't be surprised with this show if they pull some members of the Targaryen family tree ahead a generation or back a generation to kind of get them in the same timeline. I could see them doing something like that. It's not going to bother me that much. But here's the thing, guys. I'm way more excited about this than I am Rings of Power. So much so that Madison and I, which we did our As the Wheel Turns, we did that, and we had talked about if we were going to do that for Rings of Power. And neither one of us are really that excited about that. So after the trailer, we said, yeah, you know what? Let's do an after show for this instead, So exciting times. I think it should be fun, and if it ends up not being good, hey, we'll have plenty to talk about, But I do think that the source material is there for it. I've been kind of mixed on this book, really. I know some people really love it. And I will admit, when I read it, I was probably just a little jaded because I was like, why are you giving me this? Why are you not giving me Winds of Winter? But looking back on it, I was like, yeah, it is more like reading a history book than, the main series books or Dunk and Egg, but it was still decent. So I think there's plenty that they can go off of here and make this a pretty good show. I do wish it had been like a limited series just adapting this book, but I understand that they want to try to get another big hit and really drag this on. So that's kind of where I am with it. Starts in August. Like I said, I'm way more excited for that than I am for Rings of Power. And I think the low expectations maybe has helped me a little bit. I'm not really sure, but it's got Matt Smith. It's got, I can't pronounce the composer's name, but the same guy who did the music from Game of Thrones is returning for this. So that's really good. And, those two gentlemen that people were not thrilled with when they left, the showrunners, they are not returning for this. So there is that, guys. Lastly, I got to talk about this Obi-Wan trailer. We'd seen the teaser before. Now we get the official trailer. I don't want to sound negative about this, guys, because I don't want to. Look, here's the thing with all this stuff, guys. I want all this stuff to be great. As a nerd, as a lover of these fandoms, I would love for these shows to be good. Cautious optimism with Obi-Wan, because I think that it feels like make or break time for Disney Plus, because I felt like Mandalorian was really good, and then it was like Boba Fett really just kind of dropped the ball. It really did. It kind of got us back to being like, so we're back to this again, hit or miss, really, with what they're doing on Disney Plus. With this, it feels like this. Look, with Boba Fett, it was like demystifying a character like most. What made him cool was how mysterious he was. So doing what they did with him, I can understand why it didn't really work on screen. With Obi-Wan, this is a way more important character, and I can't get this one wrong. It has to be good. If this is not good, this could severely damage Basically, you see how the movies have been damaged so bad, they're not even planning on making any right now? I think this could damage all the plans they have for Disney Plus Star Wars if they don't get this right. So this has to be done right. But I'm mostly excited. But I like the things I'm seeing in the trailers and things like that. I won't lie, I am still kind of spooked by that story of a Kathleen Kennedy mandate that they make it more fun. And I'm like, I don't know why you want to make this time period, which is the darkest time period in Star Wars history, maybe besides the New Jedi Order, of just, this is some bleak times, especially for the Jedi. I don't know why you want to make that fun, but okay, whatever. I gotta say, I think my thing I'm most excited about, besides Ewan McGregor always returning, is Joel Edgerton returning as Owen Lars. That's Uncle Owen, for you guys who don't know. Now, the coolest thing about that is because I thought that Owen Lars would have had a bigger part in the prequels. I thought he was going to be like with Obi-Wan or something like that. I don't know. I thought he was going to be part of the Alliance or something in the prequels. I really did think that he was going to have a bigger part than he did, not just to take Luke there at the very end. So I'm excited to see that. Plus, I think Joel Edgerton is just an underrated actor. I think he's awesome, and I can't wait to see him in Dark Matter, by the way. But I guess my biggest concern with this would be Vader. Look, I love Darth Vader as much as anybody. He's my favorite villain all time, ever. Okay, so I'd love to see him. I mean, that's why Rogue One was so awesome. Finally seeing him just completely just wreck fools like you'd never seen before. So that was awesome. With this, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of retconning some things because he always kind of got the idea that, on the Death Star was the first time that Obi-Wan and Anakin had seen each other since Mustafar. So if we're going to have them, that might just be the way that the trailers cut to look like that. But I don't know. It's kind of concerning for that. I feel like some of these things just kind of keep on tearing down some of the history with Star Wars. So I'm concerned about that. But hey, it's cool to see 4-LOM again. That's one of the bounty hunters that was on the bridge of Vader's ship in Empire Strikes Back. So little things like that are always fun to see. But guys, I'm going to try to stay optimistic about it. I'm going to be watching, of course, Star Wars on Disney Plus has kind of become like family night for us, so I'll keep that tradition going. But I really need this one to be good, guys. So if this and the new House of the Dragon are both good, I think we got a chance to have a decent summer on the tube. So guys, that was my week. What was your week like? Why don't you drop in the comments, let me know what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you are playing. As always, there are no wrong answers, and have yourselves an awesome weekend.